Hey you, are you in your 50s? If so, stay tuned because I'm going to share a secret with you on how you can feel like a kid again. So what's the secret I'm talking about? It's right here. That guy. And that's correct. That is a BMX bike. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And thanks for stopping by. Hey, today I thought it would be fun to take Evolve Project BMX out for a ride today and to share with you and to also use this as maybe some motivation for you older guys who are in your 50s or near your 50s or over your 50s, to kind of do something that is going to help you feel like you were a kid again. And I know that sounds a little weird, like I'm old, my body's sore, everything hurts. How can I feel like a kid again? You need to get back on a bike again. And by bike, I mean a BMX bike. Because if you haven't been keeping up with the bike community since getting off a BMX bike when you were a kid, it's back. And just about all of the manufacturers that you grew up with, right? Or that we grew up with. I'm not gonna say you because shoot, I'm 55. Damn, something went in my nose. Crap. Right, that thing felt like it went right up my nose. So, if you're in your 50s or around that age, you grew up in the heyday of BMX. Chances are you rode some sort of a BMX bike back in the day, whether it was a Huffy, a Mongoose. If you were lucky, you had a Hutch or a GT. And you probably absolutely loved it as a kid. So the cool thing is that you can absolutely get back on a bike again and relive those glory days. And I'm not kidding. As I mentioned, just about every bike manufacturer is out there with big BMX bikes. And if you didn't know there was such a thing as a big BMX bike, well, let me help you get informed. So if you remember back in the day, if you raced, there was a thing called the cruiser class. And those guys would be riding like 24-inch bikes. And they'd be racing. And for us back then, those are always the old guys, right? They might have been like 19 or, 18, somewhere around that age. Like I was probably around 12 when I was racing. And so those seem like to be like the big guys, the old guys, right? And so they rode the cruisers, 24 inchers, okay? Well, now, here back in 2024, those cruisers have all come back. And they've all come back in a big way. You have all these frames and bikes. You can buy a complete bike made by some of the same guys back in the day. So you got, to give you an example, Race Inc. Race Inc. produces frames and forks and complete bikes. You have GT. GT was sold back in the day, so a big corporation owes GT bicycles, but Gary Turner's son, Craig, is a welder, and he's building frames and forks out of a shop on the mainland. And he's selling them. So you can go ahead and you can buy a big size BMX bike made by the son of Gary Turner. And you can jump on a bike in your 50s and feel like a kid again. Okay? You guys remember Kuwahara? Those guys? They sell bikes. Arrow? They sell bikes. Hutch? They sell bikes. So you can actually buy that bike that you were dreaming of as a kid, because a lot of us could never afford those high-end bikes, right? That was a pipe dream for us. You had the privileged few who had those really nice bikes, and then there were the rest of us running Puffies or Mongoose bikes, stuff that was cheap. So guess what? Those bikes that you couldn't afford when you were a kid, you can afford them now as an adult. Yes, you can. Bikes go for as cheap as, I think, like right now, Planet BMX has like this crazy Christmas sale. You can get complete bikes for $500. Free shipping to your door, right? For $500. I mean, that's kind of like how much some of the really high-end BMX bikes cost back in the 80s, right? You had a GT Pro Performer, you had a Hutch Trickstar. Those are like close to that price. And here we are 40 years later, and they're about the same price. So you have adult money, the bikes are pretty reasonable, and so you can get on a bike again in your 50s. Okay? I'm 55, and I'm not in the greatest shape, but I can tell you that I'm happiest on my bike. Sorry, I'm on the road. I'm heading to a nicer spot, and although you can't see where I'm going, I will put the camera up on this neck mount in a little bit once we get into a nicer scenic location so that you guys can actually see what I'm seeing. Over here ain't the greatest. I'm on the main sort of highway on the side of the road. As you can hear, tons of cars up and down. It's a Sunday, so it is kind of busy. And there's not a whole lot to see. And that's why we're sticking with this view right here. Let's hope no other bugs go up my nose. We had a lot of rain, and there's all these gnats flying around. And we went on a walk last night, and it was gross. All right. So here's another reason why you should get off your couch and get back on a bike. Besides the fact that you can get the bike that you've always wanted. Another one is just because we need to be more active in our older age, right? The pounds don't stay off or come off as easily as they did back when we were younger. It's way easier now to live a more sedentary life where we're just on the couch watching stuff on TV or YouTube. And, you know, I don't know about you, but like I can't do the exercises that I used to do when I was younger. Like I have a bad back and I can't, that takes running out for me. If I run, it just makes my back sore. So running's out. That means treadmills, any of that kind of stuff. The pounding is just too much on my back. Okay? So biking for me is a way for me to kind of stay active. And it's much easier on your body than running, right? So if you want to kind of get in shape, right? This is how you justify this with your wife. Tell her that you want to get in shape. And come on. Like, which wife is going to say no to you getting in shape? Not a good one. So jumping on a bike is definitely going to help you get back into shape. Now, it's not going to miraculously turn your life around, okay? That comes with a change in diet and all of that stuff. Oh, this is really thick. But it's a start, okay? Now, Kevin, you might be asking, what if I'm a big dude and I'm severely out of shape? Maybe I'm pushing 300 pounds, right? Well, have no fear. Whoa. Almost ate it. Don't do that. But anyway, if you're a bigger dude, they sell e-bikes like this one. This is from a brand called Evolve, and they're not sponsoring the video or anything. They did send me this bike so that we could try it out, but this is not a sponsored video for them anyway. I'm just going on a longer ride, and I wanted a little bit of help today, so that's why I picked up this bike. E-bikes are a great way to get on a bike and not have to expend as much energy if you're just starting to get back into things, okay? You can jump on an e-bike and it doesn't take much, and you can be on the road riding and you can just kind of ease into things, right? A lot of the e-bikes nowadays have what's called a pedal assist, and basically that's what it does. It helps you when you pedal, so that if you're going to be on like places that have hills, you can use the pedal assist and you can help it. You can use the bike and the pedal assist to help you get up those long hills, or to just, if you just want to cruise like this and press the button, I'm not even pedaling, and I can just go with just the throttle. There are a ton of e-bikes out there right now that you can jump on, and if I were you and you wanted to get back into being healthy, I would suggest getting something that has pedals in it that you can still pedal, because then you can kind of still expend some energy, okay? Because there are bikes like the Suron, or I think the Burromax is another one. Those are e-bikes that do not have pedals. And then basically what you're doing is it's just basically like a moped, okay? I wouldn't suggest that kind of a bike if you want to start getting in shape, okay? But e-bikes are a solution if you are a big guy who is not in shape. I'm gonna let this car pass. All right, so I'm at the point where it's gonna be really nice. So I'm gonna switch this camera around so that we can see the view as opposed to seeing me. All right, so we switched the camera from my mount on the bars to a necklace type chest mount, so that you guys can kind of see this area here that I'm going to be going into. Super nice. The thing I'm worried about is just, okay, let's see how this goes. All right. So e-bikes like this one are a way for you to get back into it. Okay, so that gets rid of that excuse if you had that as another excuse. Okay? All right, another reason why you should jump back on one of these bikes, or a big BMX bike in general, is because you can do things to the bike like you did when you were a kid. Okay? You can customize it. You can swap out things like your grips, your brakes, your stem, your wheels, all the stuff that you used to do to customize your bike as a kid, you can do that now. And it's super fun. There are like a bunch of companies out there. There's some new ones, like Billet BMX or Night Bike Company or Evo Alloy, Bullseye. All these guys make absolutely killer parts. Another one is called Custom Street Toys. Like, these guys make a bunch of killer parts, anodized in all different types of colors to kind of match your bike. So if you remember, like back in the day when you were a kid and you and your friends used to swap parts or used to save money to go and buy, you know, I think back all I could afford was like stem caps for my tires, but I would do that, and you would just buy like these parts for your bike, or you'd swap them with your buddy, or maybe you had a friend that would steal parts for you. Crap, that was a bug that went in my mouth. What's up? I got bugs in my mouth and bugs in my nose today. I kind of felt like that one went all the way back down my throat. Anyway, you can buy a bunch of different parts for your bike, and you can do the same things that you did to it as a kid. And it's super fun. It's just such a blast to customize your bike and do things to it like you did when you were a kid, right? So that feeling is still there. So another thing you might be thinking in your head is, well, I don't have anybody to ride with. And that could be true. You know, there's not a lot of older guys like us that might be in your town that are into riding bikes. And that's true for a lot of people, you know. Here on Kauai, luckily I have Bernie, but as you can see, Bernie's not here today. He works a lot, and so sometimes we're just not able to get together and ride, and so I got to do rides by myself. And that's okay, because going out on a ride by yourself gives you time to kind of like clear your mind. You might want to, you know, put on some music and relax, or maybe listen to your favorite podcast, or just use the time to just think about stuff, you know? Bike rides like this are just a great way for you as an adult to just take some time for you, to clear your mind, to kind of feel, you know, like you're doing something good with your life. And getting on a bike is great. It's always going to be good. Anytime you can get the heart rate up a little bit, you're doing your body a favor. So if you are sitting at home and you're thinking like, I don't have anybody to ride with, so what? Ride yourself. Go look on Facebook. See if there's anybody in your hometown that might want to jump on a ride. And you know what? The guys don't have to have BMX bikes. Maybe they are into roadies or mountain bikes, and you just want to get some guys together to ride. You know, whatever you got to do to find some people, do it. But even if you can't, you can still get on a bike and still have some fun. I can't tell you how much fun I had the first time that I jumped back on a bike like this, when I first got back into it. If you're new to the channel, I started this getting back into BMX during COVID. You know, one of the few things we could do back then to get out of our little quarantines that we all had was to exercise. And so instead of just staying in my house all day, I dusted off my mountain bike and started riding again. And that's where I ran into my friend Bernie, my childhood buddy, who was also riding his bike in the same area that I was. And we connected, and then that's how we kind of started riding again. We got back into like this big BMX scene, started this, you know, I started the channel to kind of share myself getting back into it, started recording some things with Bernie, and it was fantastic. We have just had a blast ever since. We've built several bikes. You can check our video list on our channel to see all the different bikes that we've built. We just finished a Torker. So if you remember the Torker brand from back in the day, they're back. Let me close my mouth a little bit. But those guys are back building bikes again. A new company kind of took them over, but resurrected a lot of the old bikes. And so now you can get a torquer if you want to. And we have a killer torquer that the guys over at Supercross sent to us that we built, and it has become my favorite bike to ride. You know, truly one of the best bikes. Bugs. See, more bugs by my mouth. And it's too bad that you can't see this. I don't know, maybe what I'll do is I'll try to stand up over here, but this is a restoration of a fish pond that's hundreds of years old. And I don't know if you can kind of see, but they've restored it, cut back all the bushes that were choking it out, and they're trying to bring back education of this space, kind of share, you know, what how the Hawaiians used to raise fish through these fish ponds. So this is really cool. But anyway, yeah, just get out on a bike, even if it's going to be by yourself, and I promise you, you are going to have time of your life. Okay, I'm going to close my mouth because we're going to go down this hill pretty fast, and I don't want any more bugs in going down my throat. Speed that we caught there. All right, so I kind of got rid of that excuse, right? Even if you're by yourself, you can easily just get back on a bike and enjoy it, and I'm telling you, it's a blast. Like, these bigger BMX bikes are made for adults. Like, these things are like, they're meant for adults. They're super comfortable to ride, easy to pick up. You don't have to worry about like being cramped up like you are on a 20. And it's just so much fun to be able to ride again, right? And so super, super highly recommend you jump on a bike. That bridge closed from a big rain, and it's crazy that they haven't been able to like fix it. It's been months and months that those guys have not been able to go that way. Check out the harbor. All right, so what do we talk about? Bikes are plentiful. You can afford a bike now that you couldn't when you were a young kid. There's tons of parts that are out there to buy with that adult money. It's a great form of exercise, and it is just so much fun. Like, these bigger bikes, you can buy a bike that's in the 24-inch size, 26, 27.5, and 29. If you go and look on our channel, we've done videos comparing some of the sizes so that you can kind of see which one is best for you. But in my opinion, you first need to determine what kind of riding you want to do, okay? If you're not super coordinated in your older age, then the bigger bikes are going to be easier to manage. So we're talking the 29 inchers, the 27 and a half. Those are going to be just a little bit easier because they have bigger wheels on them. Everything just rolls a little easier. It's just easier to kind of stay upright. They just roll over everything, right? So a 29 or 27 half would be good if you're just starting off and you don't have a ton of coordination, you know? And don't make the mistake that I did. I thought, getting back into BMX, that, you know, I was still a teenager that could hit jumps and do all this crazy kind of stuff on my bike. And that's not the case. I cannot do the things that I used to do when I was a kid. That's just not possible. So start off slow and see where it goes. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. So 29 and 27 half, the easiest one to just ride. If you are looking for something that has a little bit more maneuverability, like you just want more responsiveness, you want to maybe still like hit up a pump track, do a little bit of jumping, then the 24 would be your best bet. That is the closest size to a 20-inch BMX, of course, 20 to 24. And it gives you a lot of like, just, you know, ease of use as far as like maneuverability. Like you can just, it's super responsive. But because it's super responsive, it also means that you can eat it as well too, like if you're not careful. 24 would be really good. A 26 would be also excellent. So it just kind of depends on what kind of riding that you want to do. But go check out our other videos on our channel to see some of the comparisons that we did between some of the sizes. I have a 24 versus a 26 video out. I'll put a link up in the corner, one place, one of the corners. And then we also did a review of a brand new Monza 27 half that recently came out. Unfortunately, they are sold out. Monza is another bike company that you should definitely check out. They've been super nice to Bernie and I. They've sent us bikes. They were one of the first people to kind of support our channel. And so I do have a little bit of love for them. Not a little, I have a lot of love for those guys because they were willing to support the smaller creators like myself, Matt over at the Nostalgic Neighborhood, you know, people that we just have, like we only had like a couple thousand, you know, subscribers at the time, and they readily jumped up and, you know, were willing to send us bikes for review. So monzabmx.com, go check those guys out. They are now though doing bikes where you gotta like pre-order them. It's just so expensive nowadays to kind of you know, build a bike and just have a bunch of stock sitting around. So they switched to a pre-order. You can kind of check them out. Go look at the website. They are going to be coming out in 26 models, 26-inch models, I think, in probably about in the next year. Right now, they focused on the 24s and the 27 halves. You can also find, you know, used Monzas on Facebook. Monza has a Facebook group that you can join, and you'll see guys selling their bikes from time to time on there, right? But find a bike that matches what you want to do. All right, so this is our No Willy Willy area. It's a harbor. We got a boat launch. Got quite a few boats out today. It's a weekend, and then we have the Princess Cruises that comes in. I want to say once a week at least, but you can actually do a full-on cruise and hit all the major islands, and they'll give you like a couple days. Well, not a couple days. I think they're at port. They're only in port for like a day or so, but you can actually get to see all of the islands on a cruise. So, are you convinced yet to jump on one of these bikes? I mean, if you're not convinced by now, what else can I say that's gonna convince you to get back on a BMX bike? Because you can do it. Like, you're never too old. I know guys in Texas, we got a chance to ride with a group called the Captex Cruisers. And I'll put a link to that video in the corner. But these guys were all around our age. Like, I'm 55, Bernie and I are 55. We're both classmates. And these guys were that age and older, into their 60s. There was a guy that I met, I think he's called the Mayor, and that guy's like easily in his 60s, and he rode, I don't know how many thousands of miles every year. Like, he logs literally thousands of miles every single year. And it's crazy. And these guys ride fast. And they don't use e-bikes. They are just doing regular cruiser bikes. And these guys are flying through Austin, Texas. And they are fantastic. So, you are not too old to do this. Okay? So I don't want anyone sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm too old. No, you're not. If you rode a BMX bike back in the day, like in our heyday of BMX, if you rode a bike back then, you can ride a bike now. Yes, you're gonna be a little slower on your reflexes. You might get winded during a ride. Maybe you can't ride as far as you used to, or maybe you can't hit the jumps like you did when you were a teen, but you can still ride. And you should ride, because nothing is gonna beat the feeling of getting back on one of these bikes again like when you were a kid. I mean, that feeling of freedom that we used to have, where we could go out during the day and be gone all day, and our parents didn't care where we were, as long as we were home by a certain time. You know, that feeling that you got when you could just do whatever you wanted to, it's still part of this BMX culture today. And here's another cool thing. The BMX community is fantastic. If you live in a major city, chances are there are guys that are riding right now. There are so many different groups that are doing what we're doing, you know, reliving those glory days and jumping back on a bike. It is absolutely fantastic. And everybody has been super cool. Like, we have not met one a-hole out there that wasn't willing to talk and, you know, talk about their bikes and share information and just welcome you into their community. We have been, you know, in Texas. We're heading out to Texas again. Well, I'm going to head out to Texas in January. I'm going to head out to Corpus Christi, where the CC LED guys are riding. I'm going to be joining my friend Will Talk Elton from Oahu and the Sakonas. We're all going to be going to Texas to just go and ride bikes. Bernie and I have been to California. We have been, you know, we've been, of course, to Oahu, and everywhere we've gone to, everyone has just been super, super nice. It's just a fantastic community. It's a great group to be a part of. And you're going to find people there in that community that you are going to absolutely connect with. I 100% guarantee it. You know, as long as you're nice, as long as you are respectful, then you're going to get that same respect in return, right? I mean, if you show up and you act like a jerk, then yeah, you know, don't be surprised if you're treated like a jerk back. But if you are nice and you're friendly and you're open to talking with people, like, you're gonna find that this community is fantastic. I'm gonna go across the harbor into this other area. They close this thing at night, but this is a place where you can fish. I usually will come out here sometimes just to eat lunch, just park my car and just eat out of this area right here. Favorite mountain right here. I am usually up on that section up there looking across there in my other rides. But this is a fun one to go down to sometimes just to kind of cruise. And we're not going to stay down here too long. We're just going to pop down so you guys can kind of see this area. But yeah, a lot of fishing. There used to be a nightclub down here. Oh, look, evidence, people dancing over here. I think the boat is leaving actually. So you can kind of see it getting further out from the dock. So in a little bit, that thing is going to be out, going out of the port here. All right, so I gave you another reason why you should get back into it. Because the BMX community is fantastic. I'm just going to look and see what kind of battery life I still have. This Action 5 Pro has been amazing with battery life, though, I gotta say. Let me see, can I see anything on this? Can't really see anything. So I'm going to see some sort of a battery meter on this thing, but I don't see anything. All right, well, I'm gonna keep going. Up through here because that road is a little sketchy, even though I have an e-bike. if I'm gonna get in trouble. Should go this way. Well, this is in the back of the hotel. Hopefully I'm not gonna get stopped by security, but I'm just cutting through to their parking lot because there's a way to avoid the main road. Oh, I'm gonna try to avoid it. We're going this way. It should be fine. That's the nice thing about an e-bike is hills are nothing. You can hit pretty much any hill and be fine. So we're gonna go backwards on what my normal ride is. Oh, I hate these double speed bumps. We're usually coming the opposite way down this hill, but I wanted to show you the view from up here compared to where I was earlier down there. And then we'll be able to kind of check out the ship passing by too, so that might be kind of cool. This section is pretty bad. Doesn't look too bad, but riding it, especially on a bike with 40 PSA or PSI tires, not PSA, PSI tires. Yeah, I'm feeling all the little bumps everywhere. Trying to ride on the edge, avoiding the cracks. Spot that I usually come up to and pause all the time because, you ready? This is what it looks like. I mean, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. You kind of see the boat getting assisted by the tugs. Kind of interesting to kind of see it push out like that. Now that thing is gonna zip right on here and go to the next island. So are you convinced yet? Like, I think there's really not a lot of excuses out there for you to jump back on a bike again. And of course, like, if physically you're not able to even ride a bike, then of course that doesn't apply. But if you are an older guy like me in his 50s, you were around during the heyday of BMX, you absolutely love being on your bike, that same feeling can be had right now if you just get back on a bike again. And there are a ton of people out there that have left comments on our videos where we've helped them get back on a bike and they love it. So if you are one of those, new people to our channel, this is the first time you're seeing this, us in this video, and you're wondering, hey, can I get back on a bike again? You absolutely can. Okay? You absolutely can. And I highly encourage you doing so because it's good for your health. You can afford more than you could back when you were a kid. You can customize your bike just like you did when you were a kid. You can put whatever parts on it. You can do whatever you want to your bike, and who cares? It's your bike, right? You can meet a bunch of people that have the same type of interest as you. You can connect with this BMX community, and it's just a blast, man. And it is the most fun that I think I've had as an adult, just jumping back on bikes and connecting with people from all over the world, just like you guys. And we're super thankful. So hopefully that helped. Let me know. Drop a comment down below if you're new to the channel and you are now inspired to jump on a bike. I hope that did it for you. But if that didn't, then I failed. And let me know if I failed. I'm okay with the negative comments too. You got to take the good with the bad, right? So anyway, if you stuck around this long, thank you. Consider liking and subscribing for more BMX adult content like this. Not adult, that sounds like there's going to be like OnlyFans kind of stuff on here. No. If you are a fan of BMX as an adult, then consider sticking around. And now we got a helicopter. Let's see if we can catch it flying above. I don't know if you saw that or not, but we'd love to have you part of our community. And see you in the next one. Until then, hey, take care of one another, be safe, and aloha. Look at that view. Look at that view. That view is pretty nice too. Chee!